Hello and welcome to Brave New World Comedy and welcome to possibly one of the strangest experiences of my life. My name is Matt Price and this is a virtual comedy club. Now, if you're anything like me, you've probably spent the last 4 weeks wondering what's going on. You've probably longed to go out to the pub or have some entertainment. And I'm a comedian by trade and I've been longing just to speak to an audience. So that's what we have today. We have comedians and we have an audience. And I'd like to introduce you first of all to our comedians. We have in the top right-hand corner here, we have Nick Coppin. Hello, Nick Coppin.
Hello, Matthew Price.
I'm glad that works. Eric Price, actually, if we want to get technical about it. We have...
I was going to do the Eric.
I'll be honest with you. This is a family show, so I won't insult you. I shall move on now. We have Susan Murray over here. Hello, Susan.
Hi, Matt. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Nice gas mask. Where did you get that from?
Oh, this one. Oh, I got it from the gas mask shop.
Okay, ask a stupid question and you're going to get a very practical answer. And the pun meister general himself, the one and only Mr. Tony Cowards. Hello, Chief. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Matt.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm delighted to see you. I couldn't ask for 3 better people, but of course we can't do comedy without an audience. So I'm really pleased we have the VIP area here, actually. Hello, how are you? You can see me waving at you. Hello, how are we? So I'm particularly drawn to the gentleman there, who's the thumbs up at the moment. You have your own mask. I don't quite know what's going on there. Are you a highwayman in a previous life? What? That's slightly scary, but nothing wrong with that at all. You do whatever you want, my friend. You just put that on, you look better. Nice eyes. And of course, over here, we have the cheap seats. Hello, how are we, team? Hello. Thank you very much. Like I said, we can't do this without you. We really can't. Now, I was saying, actually, that this is the strangest experience I've ever had. It kind of is. I mean, I don't know. Some of you have been to comedy clubs. You told me earlier on. I do understand that. I'd never normally talk about this on the comedy circuit, but one of my favourite moments in comedy, I was asked to do a gig at Broadmoor maximum security prison for the criminally insane. So I fired my agent after that, but I went along and it was me and 60 serial killers. What could possibly go wrong there? I've got to say, I'm not going to be too personal to you, my friend, but you've got the look, so you're going to relate to this more than anybody else. I stood in the food queue next to a cannibal. Now, it was an aid of patient rehabilitation, and I'm not judgmental in any way, but how do you rehabilitate a cannibal is my question. It is a rhetorical question. Corn, of course, being the answer. And so I stand next to a cannibal and I was terrified, and his name was Peter Bryan. I recognized him. The woman in charge, of course, she walked behind the curtain after my set. The first thing she said was, well, that wasn't very good, was it? You swore too much, it provoked them. And I said, I'm really sorry, I tried my best. Well, there's no need to swear. I mean, you do know that we could have booked a magician instead of you. And, well, what's going to provoke them more? You know, me swearing or a man sawing a woman in half is my point, right? So I've stood in the food queue next to a cannibal. We had the raffle. The patients were allowed to buy raffle tickets. The prizes were board games, 2 of which included Operation and Cluedo. Right? And 10 minutes into my set, I had the best tackle ever. Somebody shouted out, "Eat him, Peter." And that will never be topped. Somebody else went, well, he's a big bloke, it'll take a while. Someone else went, it'd be like turkey at Christmas. You get sick and fed up of it after a couple of weeks. And someone else went, I once went on holiday to Turkey. So frankly, I'm quite happy to be in isolation. And I'm glad that I'm not in Broadmoor. This is a good friend of mine. His name is Tony Cowards. I always feel compelled to do a one-liner joke because I'm so bad at them. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Matt.
How are you? I was thinking about the time where I kidnapped a nun because her nephew upset me. He said, no offence. I said, none taken. You see, kapow. So I'm going to introduce an act who actually knows how to do jokes properly. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Tony Cowards.
Thank you very much, Matt. So yeah, just to introduce myself, my name is Tony, and my motto in life, I think it's important to have a motto. Mine is always give 100%. Everything I do, I like to give 100%, which does make blood donation quite tricky. My dad's motto in life was never a borrower nor a lender be, which is why he lost his job at the library. So yeah, so a little bit about my background. It's weird, my surname is Cowards. Actually come from a military family. Long history of military in my family. My dad was actually a Royal Engineer who specialised in clearing minefields. and he always wanted me to follow in his footsteps. My granddad was in the army as well. My granddad was the regimental Christmas tree. Didn't see any action, but he was highly decorated.
That's my favourite.
Just to do that. So yeah, a little bit more about my background. Did have quite a sad childhood, ladies and gentlemen. Quite sad because my parents got divorced when I was little. My mum was having an affair with a demolitions expert, bloody home wrecker. And I went to the School of Hard Knocks, or as we called it, Jehovah's Witness College. And I had a very weird chemistry teacher at school. My chemistry teacher was a very odd man. He'd often take the lessons naked. Eventually, he was arrested for exposing himself to the elements. So I do stand up now, along with Matt and Nick and Sarah, and Susan there. Do stand up. This is obviously a bit of a weird, isn't it? We're in lockdown at the moment. It's an interesting experience, isn't it? Mistakenly, I've ended up with thousands of Scotch eggs into lockdown, yeah, because I misheard. I thought everyone was picnic buying. So, yeah, I do stand up now. It's not the only job I've ever had, though. I had lots of different jobs. For instance, I actually trained to be a locksmith. I studied at Yale. Have to say that opened a lot of doors for me. Shame I don't do that job anymore, isn't it? Because I'd be considered a key worker. Yeah, I was also for a little while, I was the manager of a struggling boat shop. Had the genius idea of lowering the ceilings. And, of course, immediately sales went through the roof. Also used to be the DJ at Stonehenge, although I no longer mix in those circles. So I'm in lockdown, like everyone else in lockdown. I'm in lockdown with my girlfriend, lovely girlfriend. I love my girlfriend, she's brilliant. I met her while she was working at the zoo. And there she was in a uniform, and straight away I thought, she's a keeper. So I had a lot of failed relationships. Don't turn your back on me, Matt. That's rude.
No, I'm not turning back. I was sorry to interrupt. I don't interrupt you. The audience are loving this. You're absolutely storming this, mate. Well done. All these people who are saying online comedy can't be done, you're on fire, mate. Seriously, please continue. Sorry.
I see we've got some couples in by the looks of it as well, because I am a part of a couple now, but I was single for a long time. And I got so lonely, so desperate when I was single. In the end, I made myself a Lego girlfriend. And I'll tell you what, I loved her to bits. I have had a lot of failed relationships. I did live on a houseboat for a little while, and I was seeing the girl next door. Eventually, we drifted apart. So it's important to try and keep fit, isn't it? I don't know if everyone else is trying to keep fit at the moment, trying to keep fit and healthy. It's a struggle, isn't it? And I'm struggling to do a bit of advice. Going to do those sort of pull-ups, so you can pull up bar, keep your chin up. So advice for you there. I was actually asked last year. I was asked if I'd run the London Marathon for charity. I thought about it, but in the end, I said no. Mainly because I've no experience of organising an event that big. So it is important, isn't it, in these times to keep track of your health, keep healthy. I was having some health problems before this all kicked off. I actually had to go and see the proctologist. I'm a man of a certain age, had to go to see the proctologist. Incredibly lazy, my proctologist. In the end, I did have to tell him to pull his finger out. And my doctor did tell me that all my internal organs are enlarged. I say that with a heavy heart. So I'll leave you lovely people in a moment. So what a wonderful experience this has been. It's been fantastic. So this is my second experience of online comedy, which is great. And I'll leave you with one last thing, ladies and gentlemen. People say, don't they? People say that 40 is the new 30. But you try explaining that to a speed camera.
Ladies and gentlemen, how great was that? That was Tony Cowards. Give it up for Tony Cowards. Wasn't that? That was brilliant. Thank you, mate. I don't know how you do that. You know, we just sort of write stuff down and observe stuff. You've actually got to put some work in. Well done, mate. That was wonderful. So I feel sort of compelled. You're looking very happy. You actually looking the best I've ever seen you, mate. What's going on? Is lockdown good?
Yeah, it's not too bad, is it? Like I think Susan said earlier about it's us comedians. We're trained for this, aren't we? We're used to just sitting around and not doing a lot. So,
I think we are indeed trained for it. And Susan, who you're talking about, is the governor of the gig. If I was going to be in a fight with anybody, I mean it with lots of love, I would genuinely invite Susan Murray along, and I would stand in front of her, because they wouldn't have a chance. You'll see what I mean. Very funny comic. And actually, and I can really genuinely say this as well, one of the very first comedians I ever saw. So if people don't like me, you know who to blame. Genuinely, I saw it many years ago, and I thought, do you know what? I really want to be that, and I'm still aspiring to be it as well. I've got as far as the long car journeys and the backstabbing and some of the unpleasantness. So, you know, it's going quite well in that respect. But without further ado, I would like you lovely people to give a warm welcome to our final act, Susan Murray.
Woo! Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. It's really nice to be here. Yeah, I did say earlier that when we're having our pre-program chat that this lock-up for comedians is an absolute breeze, because we spend our entire lives just literally pottering around during the day, not doing anything. And the general public are now getting to see what it's like being a comedian, because you go to bed late, you just do nothing all day. You don't know what day of the week it is until you turn on the TV and there's a cookery program. And, it's obviously the weekend. Because knowing what day of the week it is so 2019, isn't it? And I'm finding lockdown, it's a bit like every Sunday in Wolverhampton in the late 80s, when there was nothing to do, it was really boring, there was nowhere to go. In fact, I'll be honest, Wolverhampton is like that at the best of times, really. But lockdown, it's a bit like it's like an extended version of that week between Christmas and New Year, when only idiots stampede to the shops. You're stuck indoors with your family and you want to kill them. But I'm quite enjoying being completely unemployed and close to destitution, because like most stand-up comics, I am now staring down the barrel of a day job. I've genuinely applied for self-stacking jobs, and it turns out that even Lidl know that a media studies degree from 1992 is literally good for nothing. And it turns out that my mum was right. I've got nothing to fall back on. But the thing is, at the moment, there are pilots who are out of work. Do you think they're getting grief off their mum as well? Oh, well, I told you to take that delivery driving job, but no, you wanted to be a pilot and wear a stupid hat and have epaulets. Ridiculous state of affairs, isn't it, really? But I have actually got a new job. I'm a time traveller. Because I am, I'm signing on. I'm drinking snakebite and I'm listening to grunge. It's just like 1994 all over again. Now, if you don't know what snakebite is, it's the best drink ever invented, and it's the quickest way of getting drunk without having to go nightclubbing with Prince Andrew. What it is, it's half lager, half cider, and if you want to get absolutely annihilated in 9 minutes flat, stick a couple of vodkas in there. So it turns out, in times of crisis, the Brits, we don't sing opera from balconies. No, we drink heavily. And I swear on my life, the minute that Prosecco runs out, I will be running turfs through a soda stream. But it's the people with kids that I feel sorry for, because my parent friends are having a nightmare. It's making my premature ovarian failure feel like a roaring success, because I know that I would be a terrible homeschooling mom. Mom, what day it is? It's Inset Day. Pass me the gin. And one of my favourite things that came out of all this stuff is that Tim Martin, the owner of Wetherspoons, he's not paid his staff, and he's also decided he wants to contract the virus in a controlled manner, because he thinks he's 64, he thinks he can survive it, right? Tim Martin looks like all of his 9 a.m. customers who definitely won't survive the virus, basically. But can you imagine being Tim Martin? And at some point you get to the pearly gates and St. Peter goes, so Tim, what did you do with your life? I kind of made a lot of people self-harm. Well, God forgives all his ventures. And I served wine on draft. Get out! So it's been 4 weeks since lockdown now, and I have to say my flatmate is really getting on my nerves. And I realised, because you realise things about yourself, I'm no good at sharing. I can't share a fridge with my flatmate. So what I've done, I bought another fridge. for his head. So I'm single, and lockdown, it's really giving me a brilliant insight into what it's like being married, because I'm bored, I'm trapped, and I have no idea when I'm having sex ever again. But the best thing about being single in lockdown is it means, I can eat as much garlic as I want. I've been putting it in everything, honest to God. Well, I think maybe putting it in the Darjeeling's going a little bit far. Or should I say, Darjeeling. This is why I don't do puns. But I've finished Netflix. I'm halfway through YouTube. Well, actually, I'm up to G. I'm up to G on YouTube. I'm up to the Great Plague of London. That was 1665. Did you know, right, that a third of all Londoners died during that year? And I thought, wow, thank God for that. Can you imagine getting parked if they hadn't? So it feels like Gaia is like fighting back, yeah, because there's no pollution anymore, and we're all like, we're all looking at things in a different way. But and Greta Thunberg has finally stopped whining, hasn't she? And I'm quite glad that all the planes have been grounded, because I am petrified of flying. I mean, really, really petrified of flying. I once managed to sprain both of my wrists at the same time from gripping the armrest during turbulence. I think turbulence is actually Latin for pre-crash. And I was once on a plane that was horrific turbulence. Everyone's strapped in. The stewardesses, the crew are they're all strapped in as well. It's complete silence. You could hear a pin drop. The plane feels like it's completely out of control. Me and my friend, we're going on holiday. We're holding hands. She's weeping with fear. And I was trying to break the tension by making a little joke. But I always say the wrong thing. But I turned to her and I said, well, just think, we're flying over the Middle East. If we do crash and survive, we might be forced to join ISIS. And she said, I hope not, because they kill all women over the age of 40. What? Oh, yeah, apparently they're no use anymore. ISIS kill all women over the age of 40. Who's going to drink all the Prosecco? So I did a bit of flying course, and I'm going to save you all 300 quid, because I'm going to sum it up in the style of Harry Hill circa 1994, because you get lectures from pilots and psychologists, and basically what they say for 3 hours is this: what are the chances? That's the entire thing. And I was sitting next to a woman who was a claustrophobic vegan therapist, meaning that she was scared of small spaces, meat, and proper jobs. But I've got one, before I go, I've got one final flying tip for you, because you have no idea if a pilot's suicidal, because you can't read his mind. So what you do, when you get to the top of the stairs, you just lean towards the cockpit and sing in quite a loud voice, mana, mana. And if they don't go, do, 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 get off that plane immediately.
Ladies and gentlemen, Susan Murray. So that is the end of the show. Have a few thank yous to say. First of all, thank you to the comedians. How did it go, guys? How do you think? It was all good? Do you enjoy yourselves?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I know. I'm still confused about the shark, so thank you very much. Round of applause, if we can, for the comedians. Thank you very much. And, of course, thank you to you, the audience, as well. It's been interesting. And I hope to see you again, genuinely do. I mean, what an experience this is. I started comedy because I saw Eddie Murphy and nobody told me I was a fat white guy from Cornwall. So, we've carried on. Thank you all very, very much. I genuinely appreciate it. So, comedians, let's give the audience a round of applause as well, because I think you deserve it for being here. And thanks for heckling me with the nuts. I appreciate it. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to the people who work behind the scenes, because believe it or not, there is quite a lot going on behind the scenes here. So thank you to the team who made this possible, and to the people who will be watching this from home. Thank you very much. We hope to see you again. That's it. Thank you very much, and good night.